Brother time does not. I messed that up. Let me start over. Red
Wow,
leather.
that was like in the first three words.
I know. I had saliva in my mouth, and then the sun hit that saliva. Brother Time does not offer medical, financial, or any other kind of professional advice or opinion. This is just us talking about things we want to talk about, so take it with a grain of salt. I gotta pull up the catchphrase. Everyone is motivated by something different. For some folks, it's money. For others, it's a paycheck. Some people are even motivated by cash hitting their bank account. Others do it for the love of getting paid. I'm Isaac. I'm Isaac, 5 of 10.
Only those 3 or 4 things that you listed.
Wait, what?
It's interesting that we're all different, you know?
Yeah, we are all different, but we're all eerily similar, and that we do it for different reasons, but those reasons are the same. I have a dad memory.
Okay.
Since it's Father's Day, I figured we'd do at least a dad memory. I remember working on the Pinewood Derby car with him as a kid. That's probably my most prominent dad memory, actually. Because what we did was we went to the Pinewood Derby car store, and all the cars were super expensive. The kits and everything were just... There's no way anyone, as a kid even, not understanding money, I was like, this is all insanely overpriced. And he was like, pick out your favorite car. And I was like, I think that one looks the coolest. And it was like some ridiculous price, like $25. And he's like, all right. And then we left without it. But then we went home and we built it together. And he did some, I knew it was unsafe at the time, but the way he was using the chop saw, it was pretty crazy. But
with your knowledge now, you're probably cringing even more.
I mean, there are times where I use the saw the same way. It's like if you shouldn't do it lightly. You shouldn't.
You hold it in your mouth?
No, imagine, so the whole theory behind using tools is to keep your hand away from the blade area. Like, that's a big part of what you do. But he was using the saw in a way where if his hand, like this, the hand that was bringing the saw blade down slipped, he would cut off a thumb.
Oh.
Like, it just, so it was bringing the tool down at his hand in a dangerous way, but the block of wood was so small and the angle that he wanted was so steep that was the only place he could hold his hand to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, those, when they make the rules for how to use a saw, they really don't think about everything.
No, they don't.
Like, what if you have to use it in an unsafe way? I mean,
and they want you to buy another tool. I mean, it's all a game to get you to buy more and more tools.
It's big hardware. It's big hardware, and the lobbyists for big hardware.
Yeah, those guys
cutting off your quote unquote thumbs. No, they just wanna sell another tool.
They're in bed with big medical, right?
Yeah, with big pharma. Big pharma.
No, more like the hospital.
Just the hospital. Like
just one hospital.
I'm Josh, 8 of 10, and my dad memory is I remember we were on a road trip, and I was watching probably Hercules on a VHS in the van in the back, and just hanging out. Because we would do this periodically. We'd go to Texas to visit family or to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And we had a blowout on the highway. And I just remember, staying in the van while he and probably some of the older siblings went and changed the tire. So just kind of a memory of the things dads do.
Yeah. Have you ever changed a tire?
Yeah. Several times I've changed a tire.
Did he teach you how to do it, or did you learn on your own, kind of figuring it out?
I want to say he maybe taught me, but I was too young at the time to really, but I kind of remembered it. I mean, changing a tire, let's be real, it's not the most complicated thing.
For some people, I mean, you say that, but for some people, it's like super intimidating. There's no way they would feel okay approaching something like that. But they probably never had dads that didn't call AAA to have
That's
AAA
true.
come out.
And honestly, you should be intimidated by that because, like, if you're unsure, this is something that could, I mean, so the basics are you just tighten across, like you tighten and then you go to across the one.
Well, you probably want to
On the
remove the
opposite.
flat tire first, but
Well, I usually just put the new tire on top of the old tire.
oh, you got like
That's
4
another
tires
tip.
on butt end.
Yeah. No, but aside from that, and also where to properly place the jack,
Yeah, that's
like,
big.
maybe don't put it on like the plastic part of your car because you might cause some damage. And also, don't lay under your car while changing your tire. Just because you see that in movies where like they're working on a car and they're under it, doesn't mean you need to just like slide under there with your like little tiny jack that came with the car that's just struggling to hold it up. Yeah, don't go under the car at that point. Probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's my dad memory. Some changing a tire.
Well, that was nice. Let's think about changing tires over this break.
Forget everything you know about changing tires.
So did you go to Oklahoma?
I did. And
How was it?
I felt kind of bad because I did get to see everyone, except like Jacob had already gone back.
Interesting.
So, because we went down there Thursday and just came, so we stayed one night and came back on Friday. For whatever reason, it took us so long to get going on Thursday that we got there at like 6:30 p.m.
Oh no.
Thursday. So we got there just in time to eat dinner with everyone. We kind of hung out with them, and then we played board games for a little while. Then we went to bed, and then we woke up. And basically, well, that night I kind of helped clean up with like the tables and stuff. But I felt a little out of place because it was like coming in at the tail end of an event where everyone's kind of already established like what they want to do, and everyone's already done everything they want to do, and so they're kind of like tired of doing things. And so I don't know.
So,
I wish we could have came earlier.
Well, that was good that you went. I wasn't able to make it. And who all made it? So was Abe there?
Yeah, Abe and his family. Caleb's girlfriend was there, and Adam, his family, Leandra.
Yeah.
They brought another family from like church or something.
Okay.
Of course, Mom and Michael were there.
Yeah.
And I understand Jacob came with his kids and Alicia came at like the tail end, but they weren't there when we got there. So we didn't see them at the property.
Oh, okay. Good.
But yeah.
How's everyone doing?
Everyone's good. I mean, yeah, everyone seemed to be doing really good. Like I said, I mean, we came in at the tail end, and so people seemed kind of tired. And that's part of why I felt bad, is because we didn't get the quality family time that I kind of hoped.
Yeah.
It was very.
That's good to know. That's good for me to absorb, because the next time that I come out, I was trying to work it into my schedule to come out this time, and it was probably going to be like at the tail end. So
yeah,
I won't plan to do that as long as I remember this.
Yeah, and it's kind of a hard feeling to describe, because I'm not necessarily disappointed. I feel almost like I imposed on everyone to be like hospitable, because we just showed up like fresh. We hadn't been doing all that stuff, and I feel like people maybe felt obligated to. I don't know. That it's kind of hard to describe.
I feel like you're putting people out because you're like, they've already been doing stuff. They've had fun all day, even though it's stuff, and maybe done some work too.
Yeah.
But then you get here and you feel like they need to put up appearances almost.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and everyone's pretty much already done. Like they had been there since the beginning of the week, and we're coming in at the end of the week. So in the future, we're going to try to come in earlier in the time so that we can have more of that quality time. But yeah, it was still fun. Like I'm glad we went. I don't have
yeah.
regrets there. It was a long drive though, and
Yeah,
that's
isn't it
saying
like
something
4 or
because
5 hours or 6 hours or something?
it's 4.5, and for Abe, it apparently is like a 27-hour drive.
Oh man. Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to be good at meditation, right?
No, you just I find a book that I want to read or listen to. I don't read while I'm
I was gonna
driving.
say, like, you just like hold it in front of
I'm
you while
sorry.
you're driving, and like
Shut up. Yeah.
turn the page and jerk the wheel, and be like, ah,
Well, you get transparent pages. That's how you do it.
oh yeah, that makes sense. You know,
Put
they
them
make
on your
transparent
windshield.
screens, and you
I
could
don't
just
think
have
they
an
do.
e-reader up on a screen.
I don't think they do that. The teleprompter or something.
Oh, those have been around forever. I mean,
Mm.
you could look it up on YouTube. Transparent monitor,
Well,
transparent screen.
yeah, something that I've done that's unethical is I just put my phone on my dashboard in a way that it reflects up into the glass. Um,
Oh,
and
how do you get it to do it backwards?
well, I'm not reading. I'm like watching a movie at that point.
Oh, is it hard to, because you know, if you've seen the movie the correct way around, is it like watching
Is
it
it like
new
reverse?
again? It
No,
plays
because
backwards.
you don't really even get to enjoy the movie because there's all these other drivers like getting in your way and getting cut off by you and then yelling at you and stuff like that. It's really, I wish people would be more considerate about my driving experience. But that's
Yeah.
enough.
You just need a sign or like one of those bumper stickers that just says, I'm watching a movie. Kind of like the bumper stickers that says like
Baby on
student
board.
or student driver.
Yeah. Avid movie watcher on board. So something that I wanted to talk about is this new technology that I heard of. And I know that you're into technology, but something I've always wanted done is like I have a missing molar in my mouth, and I've always wanted science to get to the point to where they could like regrow a tooth and then implant it or whatever, because I don't know how the science works. Because they'll have like pigs grow hearts now. Why couldn't they have them grow some teeth for me as well, or something like that?
Yeah.
You following me so far?
Yeah.
Have you ever had the desire for that?
No, but I think they have implants.
They
that
do
have
have
been around for a
implants.
while.
Yeah, implants, they use a titanium screw that goes into your jawbone, and the jawbone has to heal. It takes about a year, and then they're able to put a cap on. That's pretty cool too, if I'm being honest. I've considered that. So something that they're going into human trials on is there's a protein that you make as an adult that stops you from growing new teeth. So your teeth, if without this protein being active in your mouth, would grow new teeth constantly through your whole life.
Yeah.
So I think it's fascinating. They have a new product that basically turns off that protein, which then your body starts to make new teeth. And they've had success with ferrets. Apparently, ferrets have similar dental properties to us, and they were able to start growing new teeth. So now they're moving on to human trials, and I've signed you up.
So what does that look like? Do the teeth just start like how you have baby teeth and then your adult teeth grow in behind the baby teeth and kind of push them out?
Yeah.
You then have like
that's my understanding
super
of
adult
it.
teeth that start growing in.
It would be interesting if each set just gets bigger and bigger.
I mean, they're animals whose teeth don't stop growing, but it's actually like I think it's boars it might be boars where their teeth will grow and grow, and then they'll like curve upward, and they'll start like going into their skull
Yeah.
eventually. And so it's like, I don't know, like, well, what would happen if your teeth kept growing and then they just like went into your head?
Oh.
Slow way to die.
I don't think I think there would be some dental intervention before that happened.
You're just like
They're
panicking
like
for years.
for years and years. It takes like 7 years for it to happen, but it's a very dreadful 7 years thing.
What am I gonna do? Ah, they're
Oh
growing.
man. Let's grow some teeth over this break. The whole teeth thing growing, it reminds me that eagles can live to about 70 years. Did you know that?
That's pretty old for
A
most
bird?
animals, or a bird, let
Yeah.
alone a bird. I mean,
Yeah, so there's this thing that happens to them over their life. They're around, it's actually around age 40, their beak gets completely worn out, and it's like brittle and old, and their talons get frail, and their feathers start to get mangy, and so they can either keep going that way, is, until they probably die because their body's not working, or they go off into the mountains and they beat their beak on a stone until it completely breaks off, and then they tear out their own feathers, they tear out their talons, and they basically have to sit around up in the mountain in seclusion until all the stuff grows back brand new.
whoa.
Yeah, it's somewhat terrifying to think that they just like go up, and somehow they know to do this. Like, I'm sick of this beak, and just break it off, and then it all grows back new. And then they go they live another 30 years after that with a fresh beak and feathers.
So eagles have midlife crises.
Yeah, that's basically
Crises.
What?
Is it crises when it's multiple crisis of a crisis? Or is it crises?
I think they only have one though.
Right, but as a group, eagles have midlife crises. Crises. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But anyway,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I didn't know that. I mean, could you imagine? Do we do anything like that?
We buy a sports car.
Yeah, but just in general, like, do we? No, we don't really like.
Some people like burn their wives down in a way. They like get a divorce, quit their job. They do like transformative things that way when things aren't working.
Yeah.
In the way they want, but nothing. I don't think it's as extreme. That's why it's fascinating to me. But I got a question about the Great Wall of China, for you.
Okay.
Who built the Great Wall of China?
I think it's in the name
That's okay.
that
So-
China built it. But this question makes me unsure.
Yeah. So the claim from China, this is China's claim, that the wall was built to keep out a northern invasion, right? And it became the largest military structure. Well, that'd be all fine and like understandable, but if you actually go to the wall and you know which direction is north, which is south, the defensive parts are facing in towards China. So one side has defensive like arrow slits that's built up higher, and the other side's just a normal wall. No extra height for defense.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, the extra height is built on the China side, as if it were to keep China in.
Yeah. I mean, could it have been like a zombie apocalypse situation? Because China was more populated, and so some other country built it.
I think it's possible, and that people in the I hate to impugn the integrity of random people of the past who were in power and possibly corrupt. But I mean, there's a chance that they didn't build it.
Could it have been just they had been up north and it's kind of like reversed? Well, okay, that's kind of silly because obviously you would know.
They used to be in Russia, and now now they're. I mean, we probably would have known if they switched places, and it's just interesting that maybe history isn't what we think it is. Maybe it was to keep their people in more than it was to keep other people out. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm on a subreddit called Alternative History.
Yeah.
And the subreddit is basically just people will post things that could imply like that our understanding of history is wrong, that some part of history is just misunderstood and it's a completely different story. Unfortunately, most of the posts are just like people saying things like we evolved in the water or something weird like that, like some kind of water ape theory. Like, and the issue is like the moment you start reading what the person wrote, it's like, okay, you're just extremely racist is what is what this is. Like you just, because like they'll say things that are blatantly like their opinion about something as if it's just a factual thing that's for granted. Like, obviously this is true because of this.
And any examples?
The racism part was like something to do with like people in Africa have a different like bone structure because of this, because of the water or something. I don't remember specifics. It was garbage. So I try not to like keep garbage in my brain where it's obviously just someone with like a max high school diploma that has like looked at pictures online and has pieced together this weird theory of theirs. That
I think it happens.
Yeah.
Like especially before you become an adult and you start to like accept that the world isn't necessarily the way you want it to be or imagine it to be or how you create it to be, that you have to like collect evidence, and not all of it is going to resonate. And people who just like things to resonate with them, and that's all they can accept. It's like, yeah, we were all mer people before we were humans. That we're the mer people today.
Yeah, and it's totally possible for someone to not be super educated and to be correct. I'm not saying that, but what I've seen, especially in that subreddit, is people will it's like the part that resonates, like you said, it's like that's their guiding, that's what makes them decide if something is right.
Yeah.
Is if it sounds right to them. And a lot of the time, something that sounds right to them is just based on all of their previous experience, most of which is just based on where they are and maybe based on the people around them saying things that were probably a lot like them. And it just builds up to where it's like they're only accepting things that resonate with their past experience instead of using some kind of like more scientific or measured approach where they're looking at evidence and accepting evidence for what it is. They're instead just saying they're picking and choosing. They're cherry picking what they the evidence they want, and then they're like shaping everything that doesn't perfectly fit to fit what they want to believe. And it's blatantly obvious because I feel like I see it so much, especially online right now, where people just like not on history, but my wife and I were talking about this during the pandemic. There was this lady on social media that was telling people to take this like this medicine for horses or something. It was some kind of antibiotic.
Horse dewormer?
Yes.
Yeah.
You must have seen this too. And
are you talking about ivermectin?
That might be it. I don't know. But the lady on social media, what she did is she read the bottle and she was like, it says right here, not for horses, for human consumption only. See, they're hiding it from us in plain sight. Like, we need to take this because it'll cure COVID. And then, so some other dude who had the medicine, I guess he had horses as well. He showed the actual bottle, and the thing is she had, for whatever reason, added a comma and a word, because what it actually says is not for horses intended for human consumption. So not only, so she only saw what she wanted to see.
Wait, you said not for horses intended for human
So she added a comma after not for horses when she read it, and then she added only at the end.
Oh.
So think about the meaning here. So it's literally saying, if this horse is intended for human consumption,
not for horses intended for human consumption.
Exactly.
When do humans consume horses?
So that might be part of why she misunderstood it, because she couldn't fathom. But I mean, it's probably more fail-safe, because we don't typically eat horses. But just think about the significance of this medicine can be so dangerous for a human that, or at least it's just not tested for humans, that even if the horse later on might be consumed by a human, they should not get this medicine. And like, it's just the drastic difference between what people want.
I think you're doing exactly what you're claiming people are guilty of. You're extrapolating based off of what's resonating there. But it's interesting because I've been seeing people come back and apologize for those attacks on ivermectin, and then even flat out deny that they had attacked people for promoting ivermectin as a treatment. Flat out lying. People in media, left media, that were absolutely trying to cancel Joe Rogan, and said he was harming people by promoting it or saying that it worked for him. He's not a doctor. They turned around and said, "Oh, we never said that. It's fine. Just consult your doctor about it. We never said he was harming people." And then they'd pull up clips in real time, pull up clips to show, yes, this is exactly what you said. You said he was harming people by suggesting that people look into it. Anyways,
well, I mean, if that's true, if it's not actually harming people, that's one thing. See, I don't know if it was ivermectin is what I'm talking about. Is ivermectin for horses?
I think it's also a horse dewormer, and I think the real issue is the grade of medicine is different for animals than human. Like, we don't eat horse feed. You could not sell horse feed to humans because it's not to the same standard that, like, the FDA. There's different standards for human consumption. In our country. So on those grounds, you would not take something off the shelf that's like an antibiotic for an animal and say, "Oh yeah, this is the same antibiotic." It may even be the same antibiotic, but it is not intended for human consumption.
Right.
Completely different lab that it was made in, and different. I mean, they have different concerns about humans than they have for animals. So
sure.
Maybe
although the disclaimer is not saying this is only for horses, it's not for humans. It's saying this is for horses, and if this horse is ever meant to be consumed by a human, you should not give this to a horse.
Right.
And it could just be that it's untested and it's out of an abundance of caution, which I think is great. But I mean, my point was she was just blatantly misreading it so that it would fit with her idea.
I think it's what you said, and that she couldn't fathom a different meaning of it.
Sure, yeah.
Like, and she did add a word which, in my mind, shows that maybe she's less than ethical in her approach, because she added words.
And there's also a few logical leaps you would have to make, because, like, the idea that it's being hidden or it's not, like, it's unknown, and yet it's printed on the bottle. And why would that be printed on the bottle? like a horse medicine
Yeah.
that has printed on it, not for horses. This is only meant for humans. It's not for horses. It's just like, it's kind of a
Yeah,
head
I feel like
scratcher.
one conversation with a veterinarian would have clarified everything.
Right. Yeah.
Instead of promoting it, running to outlets to promote that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I don't like is when people don't change after they hear truth, like after their argument, their whatever they're selling has been thoroughly dismantled in front of them, they simply go and find a new audience and spout the same. I can't handle that. I get so upset, so infuriated.
That can be frustrating. It's like they care more about their brand, where, like, okay, with the knowledge you have today and the decisions you make today, I don't think you should necessarily, like, you could say, yes, I was wrong about the past, but like, I'm making decisions today with the knowledge I have today. And if tomorrow I have new knowledge, new information, I may change what I think. And that's okay. Like, I don't understand why people are so fixated on, no, I was right about this. And
I think it's a fundamental flaw in the way they view right and wrong. And I think you and I maybe view it as objective, and some people view it as subjective, and right and wrong is what you convince people right and wrong is. And if you pile up the people who believe you against the people who don't believe you, to some degree there is some logic there, but it's not. I don't think it's an ethical way to view the world. I could be wrong. Does that sound like it might be the way that people think?
Possibly. I don't think they do it so intentionally. I think it's a sense of pride.
Pride.
Yeah. I think that it's either a sense of pride that they can't bear the fact that they were wrong. And it can also be, maybe a little more cynically, it can be a brand thing where they can't say they're wrong, or, the people who follow them are going to take that to mean that they can be wrong. And their brand is just based on being right in everything. They can't possibly make mistakes.
Oh,
and
that's how we grow, though.
They have to keep up the facade of being perfect. So it's unfortunate that, and the thing is most people, I think, react to that. So it's like they're just playing the system that exists.
Yeah.
So like if they say they're wrong, people are going to leave them, be like, well, I'm not on your team anymore because you can be wrong. Why would I be on your team? And so they lose when they admit they're wrong. I'd like it. You know what? I would love it if our society like celebrated when someone admitted they were wrong.
That would be nice. Instead, it's like they get attacked even harder, right? Let's double down on this guy. We knew you were wrong. You traitor.
I knew he was wrong the whole time. I voted for him, but I knew he was wrong. I'm going to go for this other guy who's always right. Yeah.
Let's think about that over break. Did you just start it back up?
Yeah, it started back up. And I'm sorry if I got political just then because I used the word voted.
I don't think you got political enough.
Oh, okay. Election.
Election fraud.
Oh, wow, that's political.
That's a hot issue. Man, those fraud people are bad.
So I saw this interview where this guy was asking someone, because the whole like Trump, the election was stolen type thing.
What? No, tell me about it.
Oh, you don't know about that? Well, anyway, so, but it was kind of goofy because the guy was asking like, do you think Trump is currently the president? And the guy was like, yeah. And he immediately just started walking away from the microphone. And so the guy who's doing the interview is like following him around, and he's like obviously just trying to get away because the guy's like, okay, so do you think there's an issue with our borders? And he's like, well, yeah, we've got some major issues with our borders. And he's like, okay, so if Trump's currently the president, do you think is he making mistakes? And he was like, oh no, he's not the one doing that. He's like, well, who's doing it? He's like, Biden. He's like, oh, so is Biden the president? He's like, no, Trump's the president. And it was like this, it was funny because he kept like, after every question, he would like be walking away mid-answer and the guy would just follow it.
Oh, man.
It was...
I don't like that.
it was goofy. It was like, that part was funny. What was being said was kind of weird. I'm gonna be honest. And I don't know that very many people actually think that Trump is literally the president. That's weird.
I think there are people who think the election was stolen, and I'm gonna be honest. Like, here's my response to that. If you think there's fraud and you're doing nothing except posting about it on social media, then you're part of the problem you think exists. Like, get out there and be like, put yourself in a position to uphold truth and honesty in elections. Get out there and be like a moderator for the elections or whatever it takes to do that.
Get involved in that system,
so
that you can see where it's messed up.
And then when things are found, like, you can't just say, oh, I saw this post where a guy claimed that there were 20,000, he saw 20,000 votes get thrown in the trash. Do you ever like follow up? Like, was it legitimate? Or do you just accept that headline as now evidence that, and what I've seen a lot is there was a lot of fraud, but it's not all clear who the fraud was in favor or against. Whenever fraud is mentioned, like actual fraud, they don't mention who the votes were cast for or who, like, where that fraud, who it supported. But I gotta declare a winner, and the winner is China, because they've got the Great Wall. Whether they built it or not, it is their wall, and I don't think that's deniable at this point.
I mean, the name of it at this point, it might as well be theirs. Like, even
it would be weird. I don't know if I'd be for someone coming in and being like, listen, we found the society that actually built this wall. I think everyone would be like, we don't care. It's still the Great Wall of China.
Right? Yeah, it'd be kind of hard to... We'd have to go through every single textbook and mark it out. Maybe I'm not a good historian for that reason, and I don't... It'd be fascinating to see how the world handles something like that. Going into all the children's textbooks, all the teachers would be there with black markers, like crossing out every... The idea that would be the answer is hilarious. You'd be like, all right, let's sharp. You know what? It's probably just a big thing that Big Sharpie is.
Big Sharpie is involved in it. Yep, 100%.
So that everyone. So I mean, imagine their stock just goes through the roof. Everyone needs to buy a bunch of Sharpie to mark out.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
Well, thank you, listeners, for listening. You can rate and review us online. You find us rate, review, and find us online at brothertimepod.com.
brothertimepod.com.